If you find yourself overwhelmed by your circumstances, thoughts keeping you awake, things are a bit crazy up in your head, you need to sort your head out, we're going to help you out with that with this clip. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so we're talking about the 4 buckets technique today, which is a technique to help deal with mental chaos. All right, so let's get into that.
Okay, so you've been using this quite a bit with patients, so tell me how it works.
Okie dokie. So I kind of think of this as sort of practical mindfulness.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it's sort of one way of kind of thinking about it. So what's happening is there's all these thoughts that bubble up in our minds. Okay, especially when you're trying to sleep. Okay, why can't most people sleep?
Head's full.
Yeah, the majority of people. I actually did a survey on Facebook recently asking people why they can't sleep, and the vast majority was because they had a busy mind. Okay, too much stuff going on. So we tend to try and avoid that stuff. Okay, maybe we don't want to face it, or maybe it's all too much. Okay, so the 4 buckets is an approach that can help you sort of unpack those thoughts. All right, help you make sense of all your mental chaos.
Okay.
All right, so it looks a bit like a meditation practice, but it's kind of different. So this is the bit that looks a bit like a meditation practice. You sit yourself down.
Yep.
Okay, the different bit is you've got a piece of paper in front of you that looks something like this, and a pen. Okay, you sit yourself down comfortably, and then you close your eyes. All right. Now, instead of just focusing on your breath, you allow the thoughts to bubble up.
Okay.
Okay. So there's different ways you could do it. You could set a timer for 10 minutes and just have all these thoughts bubble up. That's fine. Okay. Or what you could do is, as thoughts bubble up, you might sit there for a minute and thoughts start bubbling up. I've got to pay this bill. I've got to sort out this issue. I've got to start this project, whatever it is.
Yep.
And each time a thought bubbles up, you put it in an appropriate section.
Okay. So your categories, you've got to do soon, to do later, deeper stuff, and junk.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So let's say a thought bubbles up and it is like pay the power bill. Well, that's a to do soon.
Yep.
All right. But a thought might bubble up, why is the transportation system the way it is? All right. You're probably not going to be able to sort that one out. All right. So maybe put that one in junk.
Okay.
All right. Okay. But other thoughts are sort of deeper thoughts, like, look, I'm having some deep issue with why is my father always a jerk? All right, so that might go into deeper stuff.
Yep.
Okay. Or to do latest kind of projects, I want to do this renovation and landscaping, for example. That might be, and the projects tend to have a million to-dos that come under them. All right, but it's easy just to sort of think of them as separate projects.
Yep.
Okay. So you sit yourself down for 10 minutes or however long, and all this stuff starts coming out. Okay. You're writing out. You'll have a big to-do list, and some of those things maybe don't need to be done. Okay, so you might be able to put them in junk, for example. All right, and things that come up as projects, you might think, I don't really care about that. Now I think about it, so you can put that in junk. But at least now you've had this thought, you've unpacked the thought, and you've made a decision about what to do with that thought.
Okay, so you sit down, you do your mindfulness, you got your pen, you're just kind of scratching stuff out as you go.
Yep.
But I suppose there's going to be kind of an editing process at the end once your timer's gone off, or once you've kind of got everything out of your head where you're like, okay, what do I actually have to, I actually know that doesn't need to be here, that needs to be here, or I actually know that moves there. So you can kind of do a bit of an edit at the end as to where stuff goes.
Yeah, that's right.
With the deeper stuff, is that then something that your patients bring to you kind of in your therapy sessions or kind of your next appointment to go, right, this is what's bubbling up, can we work on this next?
Yeah. So deeper stuff can also be stuff that doesn't necessarily bubble up, obviously, but it's like, I keep on having these dreams about this thing, what's that about? Okay, so deeper stuff, whether it's obvious what the problem is, or whether it's like, I've got a vibe, it's this sort of thing, that's what you take to therapy.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
helpful.
helpful.
You can do this work yourself, but often it's really helpful to have someone to do it with.
Yeah, I always prefer when my patients are coming to me with a bit of an agenda of, all right, this is what I want to work on today in session. Yeah, beautiful, let's get into it. Instead of just a general, how's your week been? That's not usually very
I think this helps you take therapy kind of by the reins, as opposed to, a cup of tea and sort of flush your angst down the down the session. All right, so that's the point of it. So, we could cut to a little kind of demo of this. So we might do that.
Yep.
All right. So this is how you do it. Okay. So you have your sheet or your 4 sheets out. Okay. Nice uncluttered workspace, I would suggest. All right. And then all you do, you put your thing down, you close your eyes, and you wait for the thoughts to bubble up, and then you write them out. Alrighty, so that's the process, all right? Essentially what happened there was all these thoughts started bubbling up, and my job was just to classify them into things that can be actioned soon, things that are bigger projects, things that are deeper, or things that are junk. Not much junk came up. There was onion rings on my lunch, which I didn't eat, And I just thought, who the hell eats onion rings? So that was the only junk thought that came up. There were some deeper stuff that came up, sort of support for a friend of mine who's sort of struggling and a longer term plan around that. And some other sort of self-care stuff that came up for me that I really need to sort of think a bit harder about. The to-do stuff was just basically stuff I need to buy or little jobs I need to do. One thing that you can do when you're doing this process is you can actually start to ask yourself, okay, what are some of the things that I need to do? And they're the things that will tend to bubble up. All right, or what are some of the bigger projects I need to work on? And they're the things that will tend to bubble up. So you can actually make inquiries of yourself and sort of steer yourself in a certain direction if you're inclined to do that. But that's the process. So there we go. Okay, so we had that demo. And so that's how it works. And so the to-do stuff. Now, one thing that's worth kind of discussing with to-do lists, okay? To-do lists can be an absolute nightmare. All right, because let's say you've got a day off and you've got a long to-do list and you never get to the bottom of it, and it can be quite demoralising. Okay, so one big tip with to-do lists is rather than thinking about being orientated by task, it's best to be orientated by time. Okay.
Yes.
So you plan your day out. All right, if you've got a big day and you want to get stuff done.
Yes.
All right, is right. It's going to take me about an hour to do this particular task, and you schedule in between 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock.
You told me this trick a couple of months ago, so I've now actually changed how I've kind of approached my to-do list, kind of if I've got a weekend off or a day working from home or whatever, and I structure it now more in time. And then sometimes I get to write, I'm planning out my day and I'm like, I've got 15 things but only 6 hours. I'm not getting those 15. So, and that kind of goes, okay, realistically I can get this achieved today. Those ones are going to have to wait until next time. And that actually helps kind of with my perfectionistic overcompensate from the outset of what is actually realistic for me to achieve today.
Yeah, it's demoralising when you can't get to the bottom of your list, and no one can get to the bottom of the list. But at least this way, it's like, okay, I can do this stuff. I've scheduled it out. Maybe you get it all done, maybe you don't, but at least it's realistic.
Yeah, beautiful.
So that's the 4 buckets in essence.
Okay,
that's the 4 buckets.
So available for you guys as a resource up on the on our website. We'll put this under the anxiety section, I think, because it's probably kind of the anxiety provoking thoughts that can kind of get a bit overwhelming and create the chaos. Now, I'm going to do this as 2 versions within the one document. So if you download it, you'll get both. We've got the 1-page version, so similar to this one. Or, can you hold that please? Thank you. For those of you who've got a really, really, really full head, then we've done kind of the 4 buckets as a full page option that you'll be able to download. I recommend if you're going to print this, print them single-sided. Otherwise, you're going to be constantly flipping back and forth while you're doing meditation, and that'll get in the way. So we'll have those available for you on our website, resources, under the anxiety tab.
Thanks, folks.
See you later.